Ever pondered on the meaning of life, or if there is one at all? It's a question that has intrigued humans for centuries, leading us down the rabbit hole of existentialism. This philosophical theory explores our existence, the nature of it, and why we are here. It's a journey that can lead to numerous ideologies, one of them being nihilism. Nihilism, a term derived from the Latin word nihil, meaning nothing, is a branch of thought that questions if life has any inherent purpose. It's not about pessimism or cynicism, but rather about confronting the possibility of a universe devoid of objective meaning, purpose, or intrinsic value. As we navigate through the labyrinth of existentialism and nihilism, we'll encounter myriad perspectives, each challenging and intriguing, and as we dive into the abyss of nihilism, remember it's not about finding answers, but about exploring perspectives. Nihilism, the belief in nothing, didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a philosophical doctrine that carries a rich history, one that emerged from the very fabric of human thought and societal change. As we venture back in time, we encounter a world drastically different from our own. The 19th century was a time of immense change. The Industrial Revolution was reshaping societies, creating new wealth and power dynamics. Alongside this, a growing skepticism towards traditional institutions and values was brewing. In this backdrop, the seeds of nihilism were sown. Enter Friedrich Nietzsche, a name synonymous with nihilism. Nietzsche wasn't a nihilist himself, but he was the first philosopher to seriously grapple with its implications. He saw nihilism as a dire consequence of modernity, the result of the death of God, a phrase he famously coined to signify the decline of traditional religious belief. Nietzsche warned of the existential crisis that would follow, a world devoid of meaning, values, and purpose. But Nietzsche didn't stop there. He also proposed a solution, a way to overcome nihilism. He championed the idea of the Übermensch, a self-mastered individual who creates their own values in a world without intrinsic meaning. Nihilism also found resonance in Russia, where it influenced a generation of radical thinkers and revolutionaries. The term itself was popularized by Ivan Turgenev in his novel Fathers and Sons. His character Bazarov embodied the nihilist archetype, rejecting accepted norms and beliefs, advocating instead for a radical reevaluation of society. It's crucial to understand that nihilism wasn't born in a vacuum. It was a response to societal and cultural shifts, a radical questioning of existing frameworks of thought. It emerged as people grappled with the profound changes happening around them, seeking to make sense of a world that was rapidly transforming. Nihilism, then, was not a choice but an answer born from a changing world. So, what does a nihilist see when they look at life? Well, imagine gazing out on a vast ocean, each wave a symbol of a belief, a moral, a value. To the nihilist, this ocean is devoid of water, leaving nothing but an expansive, empty beach. This is the essence of nihilism, a philosophical doctrine that rejects accepted beliefs and values, insisting instead that life is fundamentally devoid of objective meaning, purpose, or intrinsic value. In the nihilist's view, the world is not governed by morality, divine justice, or even logic, but rather by an indifferent universe where these constructs are mere illusions. They see religious and moral principles, those invisible threads that weave the social fabric, as baseless and void. They argue that these principles are not inherent in the world but are rather human-made constructs artificially imposed on an otherwise meaningless existence. Nihilism is not just about rejection, it's about liberation. It frees one from the shackles of societal expectations, traditional values and dogmas. It dares to question, to probe the underbelly of existence, to peel back the layers of pretense and confront life in its rawest form. Yet for all its starkness, nihilism is not synonymous with despair or pessimism. Rather, it can be seen as an invitation to create our own meaning, to paint our own strokes on the blank canvas of existence. If life has no inherent purpose or value, then we are free to assign it any purpose or value we choose. But make no mistake, the nihilist's path is not an easy one. It requires courage to look into the void, to acknowledge the absence of inherent meaning, and to continue living nonetheless. It demands the strength to accept that the universe owes us nothing, that we are but transient beings in an indifferent cosmos. To a nihilist, life is but an empty canvas, devoid of inherent meaning or purpose. Yet this emptiness is not a void to be feared, but a space to be filled with our own creations, our own meanings, our own purposes. It is a call to be the architects of our own existence. Does nihilism still hold relevance in our times? As we navigate the waves of the 21st century, the answer is a resounding yes. The footprints of nihilism are still evident, leaving their mark on literature, art, and popular culture. Contemporary authors pen down characters who grapple with existential dread. Artists create masterpieces that echo the void. And even in our everyday conversations, we often stumble upon nihilistic undertones. Critics argue that nihilism promotes apathy and despair, yet it's essential to recognize the liberation it can offer. By embracing the void, one can break free from societal constraints and prescribed meanings, paving the way for individual interpretation and authenticity. This is not an endorsement of chaos, but an invitation to shape our own reality. Nihilism's influence today extends beyond philosophical discourse. It's a lens through which we can view the world, encouraging us to question, to ponder, and ultimately, to understand. Nihilism, in essence, serves as a mirror reflecting the void and the potential that exists within it. So if life is meaningless, where does that leave us? Nihilism, in its rawest form, strips away the comforting illusions of purpose and value, leaving us standing on the precipice of an existential abyss. But this void, as daunting as it may seem, is not without its merits. It offers the freedom to create, to invent, to redefine our existence. It is a blank canvas upon which we can paint our own meanings, our own values. Yet, this freedom can be a double-edged sword, leading to existential dread as we grapple with the weight of our newfound autonomy. This is where other philosophical paths come into play: absurdism, which embraces the irrationality of life, and existentialism, which emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice, can offer solace and direction amidst the chaos. In the face of the void, we are nothing and everything, boundless in our potential to create meaning.